Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're starting to see the notification. You're like, holy shit, the Rich Wilson Show is live. What? What is that? Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are. And it's definitely now time for the one and only world famous Rich Wilson Show. Let's get it started, shall we? And it didn't. What? Stand by. That's not right. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Rich Wilson Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Yes, that's right. Yours truly, right here, right now. Hi. And you know what? I didn't even finish making my coffee. Ha. Interesting. Ugh. So, folks, how have you been? Have you been alive? Oh, I got to, once again, back to my old stupid habits. Forgetting to turn the volume off on my phone. Yeah, forgot to turn that off, of course. It's been a day, let me tell you. It always sucks when because doing one of these shows is an absolute royal pain in the butt. I love to do it, though. I love doing the show. But it's a process. It's not something that you can just put together in 2 minutes, right, Dave? Dave's glad to be back to work. By the way, Dave, good to see you, buddy. But it's not something that's easy to do. You could slap a show together and, but you're not going to get anybody that's going to watch. So I do this, and I put it together for you. So then hopefully we can, have a show for you and at least somewhat entertain you, hopefully. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, today we start the show off with some horrible news. Earlier today, well, let me put the picture up. Earlier today, a 18-year-old male walked into and I'm going to pronounce the school incorrectly. I think it's like Bob, Dodd's Elementary School or something like Bob Elementary School. It's on my. We didn't get that. Okay. Anyway, school in Texas. This guy walked up and walked into the school and shot a bunch of people, a bunch of children, and it was Robb Elementary School, in Texas. And in fact, it is Robb Elementary School is in Uvalde, Texas, which is 80 miles to the west of San Antonio. It's just a little town. It's not very big, which, unfortunately, an incident like this is going to do an insane amount of harm to the community. And the fact that it was an elementary school means that it's an insane amount of harm to the survivors of the incident. Because how do you explain this to your child that's going to an elementary school? How do you explain to them this? Because at a very young age, you don't really discuss death with your kids. And until it's appropriate to have that discussion, a lot of times in families, you'll notice the discussion about death always comes up when you have a relative die. Like you have one of those elderly relatives that passes away. Some families, it ends up being a family member that passes away suddenly that wasn't expected. And that's when you sit down and have that discussion with your kids, because they're going to have to understand. And in that situation, that's a perfect scenario for you to be able to have a reasonable sit-down conversation. This situation, there is no way to have a reasonable conversation. There's none. Because not only do you have to explain to your children if they don't already understand what death is, you then have to sit there and discuss with them, because then they're going to ask you why this person did it. And that's a great unknown, because he took his own life. Well, he did. Now, see that. Okay, let me back that up. There's reports that he took his own life, and then there's reports that the cops shot him. It's, you know, understand this happened only about 5 hours ago, so it's still new. And of course, we all know when these details come out, it's never the right information first. It's always speculation in the beginning. And then as time goes on, we get more and more and more information. So let me introduce you to the shooter. Okay. That's your shooter. So 14, so far as it stands now, 14 students and 1 teacher were killed. Wow, I was searching for the name and it's written right there next to me. And Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. The governor named the shooter. His name is Salvador Ramos. He is an American citizen, because there was also talks about this was an illegal alien. That is not the case. In fact, he graduated from the high school in Uvalde. So he is a student there. How this began was earlier today. He shot his grandmother, and then he drove to the school to commit this heinous act. And it is a heinous act. This is absolutely horrible. And Dave, let's take his base off there. We don't need to give him any more than that. Okay? This is a heinous act. Any person that walks into an elementary school and shoots a bunch of children is a coward and is outright lunatic. You're crazy. People are like, oh, you can't say he's crazy. Yeah, I can. Because name a sane person who thinks it's rational to go into an elementary school and shoot a bunch of children. Name one. There. Now I've had my coffee. You can't name a single rational human being that has walked into an elementary school and started shooting people. You can't. Because that's a level of insanity. And to just shoot with reckless abandon, because there are still many other students that are currently in hospitals suffering from injuries involved in this shooting. Okay? But like I said, insanity. It's absolute insanity. Pretty much there's sketch. I don't want to go into any other of the main detail or any of the other reported details about it. And the reason why I don't want to go into any others is because they're still working on it. The story is still active. I mean, the shooter's not. He's dead. But you know, it's what we call a living or fluid situation, meaning it's still everything's still evolving. According to what I've heard lately, the latest report or update I heard is there was a law enforcement officer that was injured in the situation. To what extent, I do not know. But there's literally 14 children that will not be having dinner with their families tonight, will not be home tonight, and will not be waking up to go to school tomorrow. And the worst part about this is the school is only a couple days away from ending the school year. That the school is done for the year. I will guarantee you there will be no more classes for the year. So not only do you have this situation where these children are going to have to be explained to, number one, what death is, number two, what happened, number three, that their friends will never be, the friends that they lost will never be around to hang out with. And then they have to spend the entire summer without them. Now, luckily enough, the state of Texas, the federal government, and other states have volunteered to send children's counseling and adult counselors to the region to help. Currently, right now, as I understand, they are still reuniting children with their parents. There was a civic center there in the town, and that's where they are reuniting parents with their children. Because all of the children that were either injured or killed, those parents have already been notified and they're in a different location. But a community of 1,500 people. Now, for me, everybody says that's so tiny. Now, I grew up in a community of 500 people. It took 5 towns to make my school district. But, for Texas, 1,500 people in a town, that's a small town. So everyone in that town knows a parent that just lost a child. Everyone in that town is affected by this. This is not like a shooting that happens in a major metropolitan area where you hear about it on the news and you have no idea who it is. Everyone knew someone that just lost a child. Everyone knows a parent that had a child injured today. My deepest sympathies go out to these people in this town, because all of them are affected. I know that everybody's like, oh, our sympathies and our prayers go out to the parents who lost their children today and the spouse or the teacher who died. My sympathies go out to everyone in that town. Everyone. Because they all are interconnected when you have a town that small. They're actually right now on TV, because I have the news up over here. There's an actual footage of the shooter walking outside at one point, and he has in his hand what appears to be some form of rifle. I know the governor, and I'm going to play the bit where the governor briefed everybody, said they weren't certain about the rifle. Looking at his hand positioning and what is in his hands, that's a rifle. I can't tell you. The video is very grainy. I can't tell you what it is from here, but it's definitely a rifle. But let me play you what the governor had to say about this today.
First, I want to tell you that what happened in Uvalde is a horrific tragedy that cannot be tolerated in the state of Texas. And there is swift action being taken by local law enforcement as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety. They obviously now know who the shooter was, and the shooter is no longer alive. Let me give you some details, and then I'll give you a summation about that. The shooter was Salvador Romas, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle, but that is not yet confirmed according to my most recent report. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher. Mr. Romas, the shooter, he himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him. It appears that 2 responding officers were struck by rounds but have no serious injuries. The Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Department is the investigating agency, and we will provide them and the City of Uvalde substantial investigative and patrol assistance. We're in the process of obtaining detailed background information on the subject, his motive, the types of weapons used, the legal authority to possess them, and conduct a comprehensive crime scene investigation and reconstruction, and identify and interview all witnesses and provide victim services and other support as needed. Victor Escalon is the Texas Department of Public Safety South Texas Regional Director. He is on the scene, and everything that can be done will be done. In addition to that, it is being reported that the subject shot his grandmother right before he went into the school. And I have no further information about the connection between those 2 shootings. And the subject is reported to be a student, to have been a student at Uvalde High School, and is a U.S. citizen. Bottom line is this, however, and that is, when parents drop their kids off at school, they have every expectation to know that they're going to be able to pick their child up when that school day ends. And there are families who are in mourning right now, and the state of Texas is in mourning with them for the reality that these parents are not going to be able to pick up their children. Our job is multifold. First, to make sure we address exactly what happened at this crime scene, and then second, to make sure we take that information and do everything that is necessary to ensure that crime scenes like this are not going to be repeated in the future, and that we're going to be able to ensure the safety and security of our schools.
All right, that's Texas Governor Abbott. Okay, so, like I said, on that video I just watched on the news channel that's I've got up on the laptop over here, that he had a rifle. I know he said that he can't confirm it, but he had a rifle. Yes, 2 officers were wounded in a shootout between them, so he didn't take his own life. He decided to put up a fight. Officers killed him, which I'm glad they did. I'm not going to hide that feeling. I'm glad he's gone. We don't have to worry about paying for his housing. We don't have to worry about paying for his execution. He's gone. The unfortunate side of that, though, is we don't have the opportunity to ask him why he did it. I haven't heard that there was any manifesto or anything released by him prior to him doing it. If I find out there is, I'll let you know. But like I said, once again, an entire town is in mourning right now. An entire town. Because everyone knows someone involved in this. And it's unfortunate. And of course, then you ask the question, why? Why did he do this? God only knows. All I can tell you is something wrong upstairs. Because, like, once again, no rational human being walks into an elementary school and shoots a bunch of kids. No rational human being. Now, you say this world is full of irrational human beings, especially in this country now. But still, no rational human being does this. He's obviously off his rocker. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Let me move on to this next point. What is going to happen after this? Well, of course, state of Texas is going to do an investigation. They're going to try and find out why. They're going to find out why this failed. Why the kids were not protected. Well, I can tell you one of the issues that why they weren't. Because elementary schools, for the most part, aren't normally the target of gunmen. Now, I will say Sandy Hook Now this one. Okay? But in most of your shootings that happen in these schools, elementary schools are not your target, are not the target. I will guarantee you, by the end of the month, there will be resource officers in elementary schools. I deliver, because I've gone back to work, to elementary schools. A couple of them, there is no resource officers there. Okay. I will guarantee you by the end of the month, there will be a new policy in place that there will be resource officers, and that what that is, it's a police officer in school, at these elementary schools. I will guarantee it. I'm not even sure it'll be a month. I'm not even sure it'll take them a month. They're going to try to find out why. They're going to try to find out, and the FBI is already there. The ATF is already there. The FBI is really good at trying to figure out based on the way that and you see me keep looking down, it's because I'm watching the news in case there's any updates. They're very good about following how this person did this, and in the manner in which they carried out the attack to start to determine what he was doing and was there a purpose. And they start to formulate theories based on how they did it. I watched an FBI agent do this, and it's absolutely just weird watching them do it. But then when it's over, you have a much better understanding than you did before on what goes through the mind of somebody while they're carrying out this attack. Texas DPS has updated the numbers, folks. Officially now, Texas DPS has stated 18 children are now dead and 3 adults. So the number's gone up again. That's unfortunate. Now, let's move away from the incident for a second, and let's talk about what's going to happen, because we're still waiting for the president. He just got back to D.C. The president's supposed to make a speech, of course. Let's talk about what's going to happen away from this. Everybody's going to come out and start calling for banning of guns. I mean, it took less than 12 hours for that to happen with the Buffalo shooting. And the Buffalo shooting was all over everything, except the mass shooting that happened in Milwaukee, but they didn't cover that. Nobody really knew about a guy that shot and wounded close to, I think, 19 by the time it was done. We didn't hear about that story. The guy that shot a bunch of people in the train, didn't get a lot of coverage on that. We didn't get a lot of coverage on the dude that went into the Taiwanese church and stabbed a bunch of people. We got a little bit of coverage on that, but this is going to be wall-to-wall news. And the anti-gun people are going to be all over the place. You're going to see it all over social media that we need to ban guns. Okay. This is not the time for that right this moment, but it's going to happen because people are jockeying for position on who can get it out there first so they can get the most likes and the most comments and the most shares. Because to hell with people mourning. You know, it's all about, oh, how popular can I make myself? Folks, banning guns is not going to solve the problem. And here's the reason why. This guy took guns and broke the law. Which means banning a gun wouldn't have stopped him. He wanted to go to that school and inflict as much harm as humanly possible. And if you take the gun away, you think, well, he's not going to do it now? An 18-year-old male with a weapon in an elementary school regardless of the weapon, is still a dangerous human being. If he'd walked in there with a baseball bat, I guarantee you he still could have killed a few. Maybe the numbers wouldn't be as high. But does the numbers matter? And of course, the anti-gun people are like, yeah, of course the numbers matter, because he was able to go in there with a magazine and that gave him the ability to shoot more. Right? It gave him the opportunity. Well, you know the difference between swinging a baseball bat with a bunch of defenseless people versus a gun? You don't have to reload a bat. You just got to keep swinging. You want to talk about, semi-automatics. That'd be less. Lee Harvey Oswald was able to get off how many rounds in under 3 seconds? Managed to kill the President of the United States and severely wound the governor of the state of Texas from over 300 yards away, and they were moving targets with a bolt-action rifle. I got in this discussion during the Buffalo shooting. Somebody decided to tell me this. Well, it's based off the certain oversized caliber weapons. Really? Because the Buffalo shooter used a .223. Bushmaster AR-15 is .223 chamber .223. Okay. A .223 is a relatively small round. I saw somebody literally put up the picture of the bullet and the casing and said that was the round. That's not the round. Okay? .223? Give you an idea. Do I have one around here? I do not. Okay. Real quick. Oh, I took it down. Give me a second. Let me tell you about how small a .223 round is. I don't have a .223 round on me right here with me. However, I do have something else. So we're going to use this argument. Oh, the .223 round. It's huge when it's not. It really isn't. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. Story time show and tell with Rich. You're going to use that argument. Sound like a dumbass. Let me show you something. That's a .45. That round is bigger around than a .223 bullet. That goes in a handgun. I know, it's sitting behind me. So what? Because .223 round you think is big, then that would literally eliminate the ability to own almost every firearm that exists. Almost. Okay. That round is bigger. But the difference is this little hollow point right here doesn't travel as fast. Okay. But we're not going to get into all that. I could bore the hell out of you and spend an hour and a half talking about muzzle velocities. But, okay, that was one of the arguments that was used. Well, it's a large round. And I'm like, no, it's .223 round's not that big. It just moves at a very high rate of speed. Not a lot of things stop it. At the police academy, we shot through 3 bulletproof vests and a tractor tire with a single round. So what are you going to say? High velocity rounds, and this is the stuff they say all the time. And of course they throw out the word assault weapon, which is a fake term. We need to ban assault weapons. If I beat you with this spoon, it becomes an assault weapon. This is the insanity of the crap these people use. And don't worry, we're going to get into more insanity tonight. Banning guns is not the answer. It's not. Because it's not going to stop people from doing bad shit with weapons. It's just not. Okay? You could say it, and a lot of them they'll say, "Oh, we're going to ban guns because, to keep people safe." They're not going to ban guns. Okay? You're not going to see the Second Amendment go away. It's not going to happen. But that's going to be the topic of discussion. It was when Sandy Hook happened on Facebook. We need to ban weapons. We need to ban guns. They kill people. And I brought up the same argument. So when somebody goes out and kills 5 people with an axe, are we going to have comprehensive axe reform? If somebody walks in and stabs a bunch of people with a pencil, or we're going to have comprehensive pencil reform? Is that what the society is going to turn into? We're just going to ban everything you could hurt somebody with? There's no end to it if that's your reason and justification. Oh, well, because, it was designed to kill. Okay? It was designed to kill. So are knives. They were designed to kill animals so you could eat. The first knife ever made was literally designed to be able to kill and extract meat from a kill. So we're going to ban knives too. We're going to use that logic. While we're at it, slingshots gone. First slingshot that was invented was to kill animals. We're going to ban slingshots because they were originally designed to kill. They still are considered a deadly weapon. We're going to ban them too. Bow and arrow, right? Archery. Everybody loves archery. Have fun with archery. We're going to ban them too. They were designed to kill. There's not an end to that, is what I'm trying to tell you. There's not an end to that. By the way, for those of you that are watching the show, feel free to comment. Either on Facebook or on Twitch or on YouTube, wherever you're watching the show at. But there's no end to this argument. None. The moment somebody goes out and does something insane and heinous, we're going to want to pass laws. Here's an idea. People hate this. There's people that hate this idea. I have friends that are teachers that absolutely hate this idea. You have teachers in your schools that are veterans. You have teachers in your schools that are responsible gun owners. Yeah, let's see how many school shootings we have if a gunman knows, and I'll use the Buffalo gunman's own words. I picked that location because I knew that the gun regulations, the gun restrictions were so severe that I knew that nobody could fight back or shoot back. How many school shootings do you think they're going to have if a gunman decides he wants to go into a school and shoot a bunch of kids up, knowing that the teachers can shoot him back? Okay. How many? I think the number might be lower. There's no end to it if we start banning things simply because somebody killed somebody with it. I mean, it wasn't designed to kill, but do you know what actually kills more people? Well, except for the last couple of years. But do you know what used to kill more people than anything? Cars. Cars used to... let people driving... Let me backtrack and clarify. Guns don't kill people. People pulling the trigger. His guy's guns did not kill a single person. He killed them all. People driving cars killed more people in the United States than people using firearms. In fact, for the longest time, DUIs were really rising up there as the number one cause of death for certain demographics. Since automobiles are so damn deadly to human beings, drivers of automobiles are so damn deadly, and the vehicle is a weapon that they use, if that's so damn deadly to human beings and evidently the earth, are we just going to outright just ban vehicles? Just everybody take public transportation. Well, how do you take public transportation if we're going to outlaw, vehicles? Because they've killed people. People have killed people with automobiles. Planes. Can't say planes. We've had pilots that went rogue and dropped a plane. Used a plane as a weapon to kill a bunch of people. You can't go anywhere. You're going to have to walk everywhere. It's literally caveman days. That's what I'm saying. When people use these arguments, there's so many different ways that you can shoot holes in it. It's stupid. Banning guns is not the answer. It's not. You can't, I understand that this is a tragedy. And it absolutely is a tragedy that 18 children in an elementary school lost their lives today. That 3 adults at the elementary school lost their lives today. In one of the places on this earth you think you should be able to go and not have a problem. I know. I have a child in elementary school right now. I had 2 others. My belief is I put my kid in there. I'm going to get my kid back later that day. But I'm going to tell you right now, banning guns is not going to solve that problem. It's not going to solve that problem. You may think in the moment in this tragedy, oh my God, this is so horrible, we should ban guns. But that won't solve the problem because guns still exist. Okay? Guns still exist, and there's people who want to use them to commit harm, to terrorize. Let's get back. You had a guy in Europe use a bow and arrow and was shooting people with his bow and arrow. I know they had one in Germany that took an axe on a subway. That's why I made the axe and the bow and arrow reference. The dude that stabbed all those people in the church in California had a knife. Okay? As long as a sick individual can take an object and commit harm and commit terror, it will happen. Regardless of what you do. Priscilla Ford. When you want to talk about vehicles, right? Priscilla Ford. I know none of you probably know who that is. But the people of the state of Nevada know who that is, especially in Reno. Priscilla Ford on Thanksgiving Day back in, the 70s? Decided because the devil told her to, or God told her to, I don't remember, took her car and drove down the sidewalk in Reno, Nevada and killed a bunch of people. She was slotted to be the only woman ever to be executed on death row. My ex-mother-in-law, who was a prison guard, was a prison guard when she was on death row for a while. So, like I said, when somebody flips their lid, they will take what is available to them and commit as much damage as humanly possible. Okay? You can't ban everything in this world and put everybody in a rubber room. It's just not possible. It's not feasible. It's just not applicable. So, folks, before you go on to Facebook talking about it, and Twitter and Getter and and I guess Truth Social now. I don't have an iPhone, so I can't get on it. And start talking and get on YouTube and start talking about we need to ban this and we need to ban that. Shut the hell up. Understand what this is It's a tragedy. It is a horrific act committed by a madman. And let's see how we can find a way to prevent these things from happening without removing people's rights. It's like the old adage, one bad apple could spoil the whole bunch. Doesn't need to apply. Especially when you've had multiple bad apples. We need to take a look and try to figure out why. That's always the great answer. Why? The guy in Buffalo was and this is really weird for me to say, a left-wing white supremacist. Like, according to the news, you can't have that. But I read his manifesto. He was a left-wing, former communist, turned socialist, white supremacist. Okay? Who hated black people. And went to a Buffalo grocery store and shot a bunch of black people. When you watch I watched the video. I saw the video. I will not play it for you. I have it on my computer. I will not play it for you. Literally at one point between two check stands and our station manager, she could tell you she watched it too. When he pointed at the white guy who was on the ground next to the cash register, he pointed the gun at him. The guy freaked out and he said he was sorry. And he moved on. Okay? Obviously, this guy was a horrific and absolute lunatic that was a racist. Absolutely. But then people started screaming, we need to ban guns. Okay, first of all, he didn't. Okay. Everything he did was illegal. I mean, literally everything. He modified owning the Bushmaster AR-15 was not illegal where he lived in New York. However, he modified it to have a tactical appearance. That's illegal because it's not legal to modify the gun in the state of New York. And the magazines weren't available in the state of New York. They were illegal because you can't have more than a 10-round magazine for one in the state of New York. He went to he got his in Pennsylvania. Not allowed to have a Kevlar helmet, and you're not allowed to have tactical bulletproof equipment in the state of New York without being law enforcement or a part of an agency that requires it. And he went to state of Pennsylvania, got it, which it's legal there. Okay. He knew what he was doing was breaking the law. So the whole, well, we need to ban this because it does it. The guy literally broke the law to go break the law even further. Okay. So let's make sure that we have the record straight on that. Oh, well, he had access to all this. Not in New York where he lived, and then he took it across state lines, which tells you he was intending to break the law. It was on purpose. Like I said again, what has happened is an absolute horrible tragedy. My sincere condolences and my thoughts are with everyone in Uvalde, Texas tonight. All of them. Because, like I said again, in a town that small, everyone knows someone that's involved. Everyone knows. Let me move on to my next rant for tonight. Because I don't want to keep on this. It is very obvious to me over the past couple weeks that since I've been off the show that a lot of people don't know this. How the global financial markets really work. It has become very clear a lot of people don't know this. And the reason why it has become well, first of all, before I start into this, a lot of people have asked about Rich, how you doing? How did everything go? Stuff like that. And I made the comment before that after I got it done, the reason why the mic sits where it does, it's not so you hear my voice better and everything else. It's because I was ashamed of my appearance because of my teeth. They were very bad. Well, let me see here. See if I can do this. I don't know how this sounds now. Move it this way. Maybe it's louder. Let me know. I'll turn the gain up a little bit. See if that's it. Is that any better? I don't have to keep the microphone in. I don't have to keep the microphone in front of my face anymore. So now you get to see me. Okay? I can put the microphone down. Does it feel good to be able to do that? Absolutely it does. I have teeth again. So now I don't have to have my microphone down, pointed in, covering up my mouth. I've had people actually complain that the microphone sat in front of my mouth and you couldn't see my lips move. Well, my first response to that was, YouTube has closed captioning. You can put subtitles up or the captioning up and it will play. But now I don't have to. So there you go. All right. So now back to what I was at. So obviously people don't understand. So let me give you a basic rundown of how the global market works. When your country trades and trades on the market a commodity, okay, or an item that's sold or purchased in multiple different locations, the decision of one of the countries involved in that market can affect all of it. Okay? All of it. It just takes one country to alter that commodity amount in that marketplace, and it alters the price. A country can also alter the taxation on that product, making that product worth more or less, and it alters the value of it on the marketplace. Okay? If you read this book, and it's only in book form, How the Global Financial Markets Really Work, it will explain it to you in full detail, and you'll have a much better understanding, so you won't post stupid shit like this. Okay? You won't post dumb crap, because those are insanely ignorant. Okay? Insanely ignorant. Okay? The president doesn't set the gas price. No, he doesn't, to a degree. Price of gas is set by the price of crude oil availability. Who can control the availability of the crude oil in the marketplace? Oh, I don't know. The president of the United States, the president of the king of Saudi Arabia, any major oil producing country can change the availability of the marketplace. Cost to refine. Oh, let me tell you, the president of the United States and the Secretary of Energy very well can set cost levels to refine by regulation and taxation and permits. Cost to distribute. Oh yes, this now also involves the Secretary of Transportation. Because in order to move said crude or natural gas involves the Secretary of Transportation. Who's his boss? The President of the United States. Taxes, both federal and state. Well, I shouldn't have to even explain that one. I'm waiting for it to come around again. Okay. Federal government. Yes, the president can do that. Can make that decision. The oil company's desire for profit. No, there you go. We got something on the list that the president doesn't directly affect. Okay. But let me explain to you why we're having such a problem now. Okay. Everybody's like, because this one comes up. Well, there's all these leases that they already have and they could just go out and drill oil. Folks, having a lease for acreage to drill oil does not mean that Texas gold, our black gold is going to be flowing out of the ground. When you have a lease for land to drill on, you have to drill exploratory wells to find out where the oil is. And then you've got to build structures in order to bring the oil out. Okay? Been doing it for years. So then what? Okay, well, in order to drill an exploratory well in a land that you have a permit for, you have to get, you have a lease for, you have to get permits. You can't just drive out there and drill a hole in the ground. It's not that simple. But people who post dumb crap like this think it is. Okay? It's not that simple. You have to get permits. You have to get EPA permits. You have to get you have to get Department of Energy permits. You have to get all kinds of different permits. Then, before you can drill, the EPA has to come out and do a study of the land. They have to make sure that your drilling isn't going to disturb some kind of habitat or the ecology of the land. I'm pretty sure I fucked that word up. Okay? And then they have to sign off on all of it. And then the federal government, the Department of Energy, has to say, okay, go ahead and drill your exploratory well. Now you say, okay, well, why don't they? They still make billions of dollars. Well, the problem is the President of the United States, through executive order, raised the cost on these. In fact, there were some of these regulations that during the Trump administration, they had straightened out, eliminated it. Okay? They took it out. Biden, through executive order, put them back. Now makes drilling even exploratory wells more difficult. They jacked the price up of the permit costs. They increased the amount of permits required. They increased the wait time for approval of permits and consideration times for the approval of these permits exponentially. Meaning right now, if I had a 1-by-1 square acre that I could drill a well on right now, if I had it right this minute, do you know what the average wait time is to drill an exploratory well on one of those pieces of leased property? Want to take a guess? Currently, under the regulations, the way they're set up now under the Biden administration, 2 years. 2 years. So even if every one of those companies decided to start filing their paperwork today, right? Today, 2022, May, we very well could have a different president in the office by the time they finally get to put a borehead down. Okay? And the amount of money involved in all of this to put a hole in the ground to hope it's going to produce. And the Biden administration, through executive order, stated that, 23% of expiring leases were not to be renewed. Look at the executive, go read, actually read the executive orders involving oil drilling, exploratory drilling, and permits and processes all involved in that executive order. It's not one sheet of paper like you see on TV that he signs. Oh, it's a whole bunch of paperwork. And it's all tucked away in there. So, for those of you that say that the President of the United States cannot affect the cost of oil, yes, he can. Because the President of the United States, through executive orders, through his secretaries of the departments that directly affect drilling for oil and refining oil into gasoline and everything else, can very well affect the costs. Because here's what happens. Oil going out into the market reduces. Demand increases because during COVID, oil demand had ticked down. Cost had gone down. Gasoline prices had gone down slightly. But then we get midway through the pandemic. We get on the 3/4 side of the pandemic. People are starting to go back out again. States are loosening up restrictions. Demand starts increasing again. And boom. Now we got to pump out more oil. We got to get more refined. Oh, shit. According to the federal government, we can't increase to match. Cost goes up. Now, people said, oh, cost of gas was going up during the last year of the Trump administration. And that's not wrong. Because demand hit before the companies producing gasoline could keep up, because even they were short-staffed due to COVID. We saw it in lumber. We saw it everywhere. Companies coming back out of the other side of the pandemic, or in the middle of the pandemic, were not able to keep up with demand. So yes, the last year of Trump's administration, yes, there was a raise in fuel prices. But not to the level that we've seen over just the past year. Over just the past year alone, gas rose faster than it's ever risen. National average for gas, I think right now is what, $4.70? $4.70 a gallon? Now here's another stupid argument, and I didn't grab the one for this. Oh, but the price in Europe is $7 and change. I don't even need to begin to discuss that, but I will. The price of gas in Europe has been higher than the United States for a very long time. When gas was down below $2 and getting close to being below $1 again during the Trump administration, do you know that gas over in Europe was still $5 to $6 a gallon? Well, a liter. No, it was a gallon. Because I think actually per liter, the per gallon cost of 5 to 6 is based on gallon, not liter. Because they're actual, if you go look at a European gas station right now, it's even higher than that. Because it said, oh, it's $7 a gallon now. But then you look at it, it's like 16 or something because it's per liter, which a liter is more than a gallon, I think, or something. I don't remember. I don't know the metric system. I'm an American. Okay. So anybody brings up that, well, gas is $7.70 a gallon over in Europe, just give them the finger. Talk about not related. But if we go back and we look at Europe's increase in cost in fuel, you'll see an increase at the same, almost at the same percentage. All of which these massive jumps started happening when good old Joe Biden started whipping out the pen for the executive orders. And you can sit there and say, "Oh, well, you're just one of those Trumpers and everything else." No, look at the numbers. I mean, hell, we had a show where I actually had a graph for you that showed it, where the cost of fuel, where it spiked. In fact, I'm not even going to go back and dig it out. It'd take too long to dig it out. Okay. So, folks, when these idiots post those dumbass memes, okay, understand that they're being told this. They're being fed this information. Here, look, here's a cool meme that you can put out there on Facebook to make you look cool and make you think that you're fighting back against the conservative people and making them look evil. It actually makes you look like an idiot, because then it shows people who know how the global market works that you know nothing about the global market. You know, you obviously don't know. And you've made that obvious by posting those memes. And then you go back and want to argue it. Oh, well, this and this. You first of all, you don't. You're cute, but you have no idea what you're talking about. Second of all, you've never owned a business that actually works with the global market. Okay, I have. Okay, I've worked in business that deals in the global market. Okay, I've watched it. One day you make money, the next day you're losing money. That fast. Okay, it's that quick. One day you go out and make a bunch of deliveries and you made a profit. The next day you go out and those deliveries aren't as same value as the other ones and you lose money. Okay? People, oh, well, the global market doesn't work that fast. Horse shit, you've never worked in it. You've never relied on food being on your table because of it. Yes, it goes that fast. I watched my investments in the period of 3 days, lose 1/4 of its value. And that was just a couple weeks ago. In 3 days, 1/4 of its value gone. Now, will it come back? Yeah, because why? I'm going to leave it in there. And when the market works its way back around again, guess what? I'll have more money on the other side. I'm going to make my money the old-fashioned way. I'm investing it. And delivering food. You know, I said when I retired I was never going back in the world of delivery. Oops, there I'm delivering again. Let's talk about the other crazy thing that's going on in the world. Yeah, I might go a little bit long. I haven't been on the show in 2.5 weeks. That right there. What is that? Oh my God. Would you go crazy with a purple water-based marker? No. That's monkeypox. You know, that's the thing. Monkeypox. And people's like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Guess what? Outbreaks in Georgia now. They found out these people that were showing up with monkeypox here in the beginning all were attending specific events, let's say. Anyway, talk about monkeypox. The monkeypox panic is spreading. Monkeypox is a rare disease that is caused by an infection with monkeypox virus. Monkeypox virus belongs to the arthropox virus genus in the family of poxviridae. Pretty similar to smallpox. Okay, pretty similar. The orthoproxic virus genus also includes variola virus, which causes smallpox, vaccinia virus, the vaccinia virus used in the smallpox vaccine, and cowpox virus. Okay, so what's it look like when you get monkeypox? I think that should be this one. All right, so that's a monkey with monkeypox, because, you know, monkeypox. It's kind of obvious. All right. Most commonly, monkeypox is known in the central to western or eastern parts of Africa. Most commonly known, but you can get it here. No, that is not smallpox or chickenpox, folks. That was a European dude with that got monkeypox, but it's most commonly found and spreading through humans in Africa is where you find it most. Now they spoke with research I did was some things said by Dr. Newman said there's no monkeypox specific treatments, but antiviral drugs and immunoglobulins used against smallpox are effective with this disease. They've been using it in Africa to combat it. Monkeypox can be spread when someone is in close contact with an infected person. The virus can enter the body through broken skin, the respiratory tract, or through the mouth, nose, the eyes, nose, or mouth. Pretty much like AIDS. And I say that specifically, it's a leading comment. The outbreak that they had in Europe the 20 people in Europe. All of them were attendees at a Pride festival that did include sexual encounters, and specifically they had a couple areas specifically for sexual encounters. All 20 of them that were registered in that outbreak were all attendees. Then it came to the United States. Found out the ones in the United States were also attendees of that same one. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. And now we're finding out in Georgia there's an outbreak, and some of them were also attendees as well. Now, I'm not going to say it's specific to only one group or one sexuality preference, because as we found out with AIDS, when the AIDS scare happened, it's because of gay men. That's not the case. But we found out that heterosexual people were getting it just as well. But the level of close contact involved in order to spread it means you're going to have to be pretty intimate with people in order to pass it back and forth. Okay. It's not like you're going to be walking down the street and somebody's got it. They walk by and poof, you got monkeypox. It's not that simple. It's just like AIDS. You could be walking next to a person that has AIDS. Unless somehow you miraculously, like they sneeze directly into your eyeballs, nose, or your mouth, or, cough into your eyeballs, nose, or mouth, or you've got a cut on your arm and they do that, you're not going to get it. But I made the joke on my Facebook page. Could it be in poor taste? How long until we, get into now we got to have monkeypox lockdown, and we have to wear masks, and we have to get the vaccines when they come out with one, and we're going to have social distancing, monkeypox social distancing, and then how long until we get into the arguments over the science, and then how long until we call people who won't get the vaccine for monkeypox terrorists? When is that hysteria going to hit? I don't really think that hysteria is going to hit. Why? Because I think it's just like the AIDS virus, except it's not as deadly. It could screw you up, but mortality rate on this, you got a pretty damn good chance you're going to make it through. There's possibilities, some lasting effects, but for the most part, you're going to make it through. Now, does that mean you need to freak out, go move into the basement, hoard all the toilet paper? No. It doesn't mean you got to hoard the toilet paper and the Spam. I mean, if you hoard Spam and, you're going to need a lot of toilet paper. But, it doesn't mean that you have to go hoard a bunch of crap and go hide in your basement and wait for it to end. Folks, it'll be okay. Now, does that mean that, that means I'm free to go screw whoever I want because of it? No. Be safe. If you're not 100% certain of the partner you're with, and I'm not saying anything against it. If you're out at the bar and you end up picking somebody up, you want to go home and do the thing, make sure you're safe. Take every precaution necessary to be safe. Okay? But does it mean you walked into a bar and you're going to catch it? No. You're not. You're not going to simply walk into a bar is not going to get it. The other one, the last pandemic we just had, you could. But not with this one. It's not going to be like that. And I've already seen some people make stupid posts on social media about, it's going to wipe out half the country. No, it's not. I'm waiting for somebody to come out and go, it disproportionately affects one group of people over another. I mean, scientifically speaking, that would be accurate because based on hard data on promiscuity of certain groups. Then that's accurate. It would at that point. But, we're going to get the people that say that. We're going to get people. So don't worry about it. Monkeypox isn't going to kill you. Okay. It technically can, but for the most part, no. You'll be all right. Like I said again, though, it still doesn't mean you need to go out there and just say, oh, I could just live life like I always did and do whoever I want, whenever I want. It doesn't matter. I don't have to use it. No, even without it, if it wasn't out there, you still need to exercise caution. You still need to exercise safety. Because we're not going to get into we're going to move Roe v. Wade to another day. I know I said it was on the list and we're going to talk about it, but I'm running out of time. We're going to get to Roe v. Wade and how I ended up in all kinds of trouble online when I said what I said, even though it's 100% factually accurate. But we'll get into that discussion for a later day. There was another thing I wanted to rant about tonight, but I'm not going to get to it. Because I think, based on discussion I had today with the station manager, I think we may be able to get our station manager on to have that discussion. And folks, it involves morality. Because it's another meme that's floating around that's dumb as hell and everybody keeps sticking behind it because it has to do with the Roe v. Wade thing. It's one of the counter arguments for the pro-choice. And we'll get into that on another day. Also, show update. Yes, will I be on the air tomorrow night? Yes, I will. Will I be on the show Thursday night? No, I won't. All right, here's the reason why. Don't get up in arms. I get my son, my 10-year-old during the summer. And on Thursday was when I will start my journey to go get him. And I'll be back Monday towards the morning to afternoon. So, yes, I'll be on the show hopefully Monday night. So, I'm going to have a show tomorrow, but there will not be one on Thursday. And then we'll resume scheduling back on Monday full time. So, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody here at the world famous Rich Wilson Show, I'm Rich Wilson with no teeth. I love showing them off now. Anyway, Dave, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your vacation. But it's time to get back to work. For everybody here at the show, I hope you have a good night. Once again, to the citizens in Uvalde, Texas, our hearts are with you, everyone in that town, including the parents and the loved ones of the ones they lost tonight. Our deepest sympathies to all of you. This is a horrible, tragic thing that no person should ever have to endure. But understand that you're with us in our thoughts and our deepest and saddest condolences to all of you out there in that small Texas town. Ladies and gentlemen, for everybody here at the world famous Rich Wilson Show, I'm Rich Wilson. Good night.